Welcome to Inspire and Move, the show that inspires you to create, connect, and grow. I'm going to bring you meaningful conversations, aha moments, and all the motivation you need to up-level every part of your life. I'm Ali Aruda, founder of Inspire and Move, and your personal hype girl. I've gone from fashion school to celebrity stylist to corporate marketing to brick and mortar entrepreneurship with my husband, each time learning incredible lessons how to pivot, reimagine, and implement the steps to become successful. I am passionate about inspiring others to live their best life, a life of joy. We have the power to design a life that we love because life is too short not to. The best part is that you weren't meant to do this alone. If you feel like you were meant for more, let me ride shotgun with you, and together, let's get you to where you want to go. Hello, you guys. Welcome back to Inspire and Move. I'm your host, Ali Aruda, and I am so happy to have you here. I am grateful to have you here. And at the time of this recording, my goodness, it is just the last few days of December, which means it's the last few days of 2023. Woo, where did that year go? But I always get excited for a new year. I know there's sort of a, mixed bag of emotions, how people feel about those new year vibes, new year goals. Even as a gym owner, I feel like I have like my own thoughts on that. But I do really love a fresh start, whether it be, the month of September, a new season, fresh start, your birthday year for another trip around the sun, but also just that new year, new intentions. And Matt and I are going to share an episode with you guys that highlights how we map out our year in terms of our intentions. So get excited for that. But what I wanted to chat about today has been just kind of on my heart because I've been having this conversation with a handful of friends and also with Matt and just in the safety of our own home. And that is navigating friendships and changing friendships. Seasons change, friendships change, and looking at a lot of the mentors that I have, some that are close to me, some that are mentors from a distance, they don't even know they're mentors. They talk a lot about this, and you could probably go to your local bookstore, go to the library, and pull out a really great, high performance personal development book, or listen to a variety of epic podcast shows that are available wherever you listen to your podcasts that have this as like a pretty common topic. And when you are going through a really exciting season of growth, you are going to go through growing pains. And I feel like I can talk about this because I have gone through it. I'm going through it. It's what happens. And I think having a support system where you can have this conversation and, laugh, cry, commiserate with each other, having that support circle is really important as well. And my best friend, Rochelle Sable-Rowe, you guys have heard her on the episode before. She lives in Sydney and she's a ride or die. And she was the first person to ever share this with me, how people come into your life, friends, people, honestly, like you could maybe go to say family. I know there might be some slack for that, but people come into your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. Now, I feel like I can quote Rochelle on this because she's a lifetime friend. So I feel like that's something I can share. But I have certainly had people in my life for the reasons and the seasons, whether it be something that I've needed. I've had friends that have been and were an incredible support during my darkest days when my dad was in the hospital and when I lost my dad. And I will not forget that. And I have acknowledged those people. I've shared that. I talk about it and I can recognize that. But I've also felt that I have been in people's lives to help them through a season. Maybe it's someone that, and I have an example in mind, that was going through a really sort of rough waters with a past boyfriend. And I almost feel grateful to myself that like I'm happy I was able to help her and support her. And unfortunately, that friendship has gone in a different direction. But I felt that I've been friend to somebody for a season. And then you have the reasons, maybe it's university friends that you met on your first day of, moving into your dorm, and you were friends all throughout university, and they could have been your best friend, but then not. And I think it's really interesting when we can take some time to reflect. And if this is the first time you're hearing this, reason, season, or lifetime, first of all, you're welcome. But it might be an interesting exercise for you to really reflect on that. Because again, life happens, good times and bad times. And I can attest to that too. Like just what I was saying, that I had some really special people show up in a really big way during my darkest days. And, sometimes unfortunately that's not going to have a really long lifespan, or it might not. And, more things might happen. But I think if you can also get to a point where you're at peace with that and give that a lot of love and gratitude that some of these people show up for that reason or season, you can give them some love. You can give them some gratitude and just be really, just really grateful for the time that they showed up in a really big, important, and impactful way to support you through a season of life, a reason that something's happening, but also just giving them a lot of love for having your back. And then there's those, lifelong friends that's where you really want to have a lot of love and gratitude. And I've got two of my best friends that do not even live in this country. One's in the US and one is in Australia. Obviously, one is easier to get to than the other. But, also recognizing that you might not talk to them every day. You might not talk to them every week. I have one of my besties is in Sydney, Rochelle, and we talk often. And it might just be texting or voice notes, or, she's a new mom. I want to see pictures of her baby girl and all those special moments. But my other bestie's in LA, and my gosh, she is a successful powerhouse. She's a jewelry designer. And I actually want to give her a little love. Kirsty of Retrobot, we're going to link her in the show notes. She's the one that's behind all of my beautiful jewelry, my pinky ring, my engagement ring, my wedding ring. And she's like ride or die. We were roommates in university and there for a lot of big moments in each other's life. But we might only see each other like once a year. Thankfully, Matt and I go to LA often, or at least on an annual basis, in terms of discovering things for our business. And that's always my number one priority, is I want to like try to see her as best I can, or at least like make the connection, because she travels a lot too. But where I'm going with this is that it does take effort, and it can always, in my opinion, maybe just speaking from my experience, I could always put more effort in. I'm also pretty hard on myself. I'm learning the Enneagram and I am an achiever. So I hold myself in a very high regard of what my goals are and what I want to do and achieve. And I think that's also just taking accountability for oneself, that I could always try harder. I could, put more letters in the mail. I could make more FaceTimes. And that's something that I would love to put more effort in year over year. 2024, fresh goals, fresh intentions. I might just add that to my sort of like personal bucket of things I want to work on. But those friends, I think also that, if you might not speak to them every week, but that they will always have your back, they will be there in really hard times, but they're also going to be there to celebrate you. And that's what I'm like really craving and have really recognized in this like last half of the year. I know if you've been listening to the show for a while, we've only been live since September. But if you have been listening to these episodes or you follow me on Instagram, you might be able to recognize that we've had a really big year. We've launched the podcast, we've like done all these big things at the gym. I don't need to, this is not what the episode is about, but really recognizing those friends that have celebrated you along the way. And I think that's, again, a little nugget that you guys can take away, that maybe do a little quick inventory. Who in your life, who in your circle have been doing big, great things? I have another good girlfriend who just resigned from her job recently. She's going on to chase big dreams, and I'm excited. And she's going to be on the podcast in the really near future, so I can't wait for that. But she's got friends that don't want to like know about what's next for her, and that might not even know what she's just done. And it's important to check in on your people and to celebrate those big milestones. So again, if you want to take away a little nugget, first you're going to do your little reason, season, or lifetime. That's a nice little reflection time. If you have a partner in your life, maybe you want to do that with them. Could be a nice exercise. Matt and I love doing a lot of these exercises together. But then also for, some of those lifetime friends, what's been happening in their life? Where can you just sort of drop in, give them either a little gratitude text, check in on them. Have they had a recent achievement that maybe you want to pay tribute to, or just recognize things that are going on? And I think that is really important. Again, I want to keep myself accountable to this, I don't know if you want to call it advice that I'm sharing with you guys, but I've collected information along the way from mentors, podcasts, audiobooks, books, live events. And I feel like I'm just adding a lot of these takeaways into my toolkit that I want to put into practice, but I also get really excited to share with you guys. And friends from like, it's been a journey. And some of my close friends know that kind of every few years I might go through a little bit of a transformation phase. And I think it's something that maybe not a lot of people talk about. I've listened to some of my close friends and mentors talk about this, and I always think it's a really interesting topic. So I've been excited to have that conversation with you guys. This might not be the last conversation that we have all together, but I also wanted to share something from one of my favorite books from the year. You guys have heard me talk about Jen Gottlieb's book, Be Seen. She had a really cool chapter about community, which, I also love talking about community. But she broke it down of how, we only, as humans, we only have so much capacity, because you also want to be able to perform at a optimal level as someone's friend or, significant other, a sibling, a member of their community, so we can only have room for so many. And she broke it down in a really interesting way based off of a study that she had included. And I'm not going to share everything because you guys should really read the book. It's an excellent book. But I would just want to share this list with you guys that 1 to 2 special friends, 5 intimate friends, 15 best friends, 50 good friends, 150 just friends, and 500 acquaintances. Now that's interesting. So just going over it again. 1 to 2 special friends, 5 intimate friends, 15 best friends, 50 good friends, 150 just friends, and 500 acquaintances. She also shares, again, based off of the study that she included, that our brains only have the capacity to handle a finite number of relationships at once in our lives. There are only so many hours in a day, and we only have so much energy. With that in mind, it's more important than ever to say no to the people who don't fit with the community we want, so we can say yes to the relationships that will bring us closer to our goals. I loved that. Again, the whole chapter was about community, and I really love this book, and I love sharing good things with you guys and things that I love. So I will link it again in the show notes. I feel like it's like every 4th episode on the Inspired Move podcast, but she's onto something. And I've heard Jen speak live a few times, and she does kind of touch on this. I think it's something that people in the entrepreneurship space, in the personal development space, grow through, because you are growing through changes and different seasons. Another friend of mine, Aisha Marshall, who's going to be on the podcast in 2024, and I can't wait. She talks about butterfly season and transformation season. And I don't want to give too much away there because I'm so excited to dive into that with her in the very near future. But I think that we as humans, we do really evolve. And sometimes that also means that we evolve through our relationships and friendships. And that is okay. There is space for that. And I think we could certainly be really hard on ourselves when talking about friendship breakups, friendship changes. And hey, guys, I don't know about you, but if you have not been through a friendship breakup, it is so much worse, in my opinion, than a romantic breakup. I have been through a few of them. There's 2 that were really, that's probably, I've been through 2. And they were crushing. My first one took me 2.5 years to get over. So if you've not gone through that, then oh my gosh, God bless. I don't wish that on you. It's not fun. But if you have, I feel you. I can relate. And it doesn't last forever like that pain and the feelings. You can get to a point where you really just wish them love, and it didn't work. So it does happen. It's not pretty and it's not fun, but I think, really focusing on moving forward and growing through things. I've also had another friend that talks about, I think it's really cool how you can break down. We had Rochelle share about, reason, season, and a lifetime. I've heard both Lori and Chris Harder talk about, rows in an auditorium, how your front row people is your ride or dies. They are there through everything thick and thin, pick you up after shitty times and celebrate you with epic times. And then you go through these just stages in the auditorium of that front row, and then sort of your front rows that are not super, super front row, but what's behind that. And then you maybe have your mezzanine level. And then once you get to those sort of high balconies, those are more the people that are just, keeping their eye on you. They're watching. So I think it's really fascinating that, going through this, I feel like I've always been on a personal development journey, at least since, I don't know, my teens, early 20s. And it's a journey I'm kind of obsessed with and I want to stay on. But it's really interesting to hear how some of these top leaders and high performers talk about this. And if this is, again, the first time you're kind of hearing things around this notion, if it resonates, shoot me a DM. I would love to dialogue with you, love to chat. If you're going through any of those seasons, I send you love. They're not fun, but they don't last forever. And, through those kind of hard times, those turbulent times when it comes to growth, the really cool thing on the other side is that growth and that achievement. And being in that circle of like positivity, those people, that circle, whether it be a big circle or a small circle. I actually remember when Matt and I started dating, he effectively told me he had 3 friends. And I was kind of concerned. I was like, you have 3 friends? Who has 3 friends? Because at the time I was in my late 20s. I had friends from, this bucket. There's like a mixture of bucket and pocket. So this bucket of friends and then this bucket of friends. So I was living a very different life socially with all my different friends. And so to hear like my new boyfriend has 3 friends, that's kind of weird. But man, he was onto something. He had this tight circle and these guys that, he had these incredible relationships with, this history, these stories. And, he was a bit of a trendsetter. So I give some love. Matt Aruda, way to go, everyone. A little cheers for Matt. But again, you guys, if you are going through this, I send you love. As I said, I send you a lot of love, and just lean into that growth season. Lean into the people that make you feel like sunshine and help you through those hard times, and they celebrate you in those really great times, and know that you're not alone. And maybe give some thought to that recent season lifetime activity, as well as what Jen shared in her book about those, 1 to 2 special friends, those 5 intimate friends, the best friends, the just friends, and your acquaintances. And let me know how it lands. If this resonated with you, I would love to hear from you. And until then, let's get ready to light things up in 2024. So much love for you guys. Grateful for you. Thank you so much for being here, and we'll see you again soon. Thank you so much for listening. If you loved this episode, it would mean the world to me if you took 30 seconds and shared this on social media, send it to a friend, or leave a 5-star review. There is power in community, and I am so grateful to have you part of mine.